start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Let's take a step back and really think about what's going on in the gaming industry right now, because what we're witnessing is nothing short of a phenomenon. Palworld, the game that many people dismissed at first as a meme, a Pokemon with gums joke, has turned into one of the biggest success stories gaming has seen in years. Against all odds, against all the mockery and doubt, Pocket Pair managed to deliver a game that not only works but thrives, and the kicker is it's not even finished yet. Millions of players around the world are logging in, building bases, collecting creatures, and living in a world that feels fresh, exciting, and most importantly fun. And here's the kicker. Palworld isn't just another monster collecting game. It's not a fad that's going to vanish overnight. It's a fully realized, fully featured title that dares to do what Pokemon fans have been begging Nintendo to do for over a decade. It blends creatures collecting with survival mechanics, crafting, combat, and exploration. Things fans have dreamed of, but never got from the official franchise. Palworld took the risk and it paid off in many ways. Not even Nintendo can ignore it. Now for today's video, I'm going to be taking this piece by piece. First, we'll talk about the Palworld success really means, not just for Pocket Pair, but for the entire gaming industry. Then we'll dive into Pokemon itself, specifically the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA. Nintendo's supposed to answer to the Palworld hype. We'll break down the designs, the gimmicks, and yes, the much hype return of Mega Evolutions. And why so many of those designs are leaving fans disappointed? Finally, we'll zoom out to look at a bigger picture, how Nintendo keeps missing golden opportunities, betraying their most loyal fans, and relying more on brand recognition than true innovation. Because let's be brutally honest, the contrast between Palworld and Pokemon right now is night and day. One feels bold and exciting and the other feels safe and stale. And if I were Nintendo, I would be embarrassed. Let's start with the lawsuit itself. This is not new territory for Nintendo. In fact, this is particularly tradition for them at this point. Their legal team has built up a reputation for being one of the most aggressive in the industry. They have shut down fan projects left and right, sometimes within days of them gaining traction. They have issued takedowns on mods that barely resemble their IP. They have struck down fan-made Pokemon games that weren't even being sold for profit. Projects that were passion-driven, made by fans who just wanted to pay tribute to the series they loved. They've nuked ROM sites, retro game communities, and preservation efforts that were trying to keep Nintendo's history alive. And let's be real, they have always gotten away with it, because most of the time their targets have been small and powerless. It's easy to crush one solo developer working out of their bedroom. It's easy to shut down a fan website with no legal backing. It's easy to scare hobbyists into silence with nothing more than a cease and desist letter. Nintendo has always acted like a corporate bully when it comes to protecting their IP. They don't care if it's fair. They don't care if it's proportionate. They don't care if the fan project in question was even making money or not. The only thing they care about is control. But this time is different. Pocket Pair isn't some random kid coding in their free time. Palworld isn't a little side project circulating in niche online forums. No, this is a global success story. This is a game that has broken records, that millions of players around the world are enjoying, that streamers are showcasing daily to audience of tens of thousands. This is a game people are pouring hundreds, if not thousands of hours into. It's the game that has transcended being just another indie release and became a cultural moment in gaming. And Nintendo's response to all this success, it isn't to say, alright, let's prove we're still number one. Let's show the world why Pokemon is the gold standard in monster collecting games. No, their response is, let's drag these developers into court. Think about it for a second. Does that sound like the mindset of a competent company? Does that sound like a company secure in its product, in its future, in its creative vision? Absolutely not. That sounds like the move of a company that knows deep down it has been coasting for too long. That sounds like the move of a company that's scared to innovate. That sounds like the move of a company that would rather try to eliminate the competition than actually beat them in the arena of ideas and creativity. Because if Pokemon were truly untouchable, if it were still sitting on a throne that nobody can even come close to challenging, Nintendo wouldn't care. They wouldn't need to. They would sit back, confident in the knowledge that whatever came out, whatever rival appeared, fans would still flock back to Pokemon because it would be that good. But the fact that they're lashing out like this, the fact that they're choosing litigation over innovation, that tells you everything you need to know about where Pokemon is as a franchise in 2025. And let's not pretend this is hypocritical either. Nintendo for decades has built a success on borrowing, remixing, and in some cases, outright copying mechanics and ideas from other games. The original Pokemon concept wasn't born in a vacuum. It drew inspirations from monster collecting, card games, and RPG elements already floating around in the gaming sphere of the 90s. Nintendo themselves have copied competitors in the past, whether it was motion controls after seeing what Sony and Microsoft were experimenting with, or adapting trends in online gaming years after everyone else had already set the standard. But now that somebody else has done what Nintendo refused to do with Pokemon, push the monster collecting genre forward, suddenly they want to play victim. Suddenly they want to cry foul and claim infringement. Give me a break. This lawsuit isn't about copying, it's about fear. Nintendo sees Palworld thriving, and it terrifies them. They see people saying, wow, this is actually what I wanted Pokemon to be. They see streamers, YouTubers, and whole communities forming around Pocket Pair's game, and they realize something they never thought they had to face. For the first time in decades, Pokemon has a real rival. And instead of rising to the occasion, instead of saying, all right, let's double down and show them why Pokemon is still king, Nintendo's instinct is to run to the courtroom and hope a judge will make the problem go away. That's not innovation, that's not leadership, that's cowardice. And that right there, that tells you everything about the state of Pokemon in 2025. It's not just a franchise coasting on nostalgia anymore. It's a franchise whose creators know they're vulnerable, and instead of fixing the problem, they're trying to sue the competition out of existence. Which brings us to Pokemon Legends ZA. You would think, no, you would hope that with Palworld breathing down their neck, with fans begging for innovation for years, Game Freak and Nintendo would finally buckle down and say, let's really do it. Let's give fans the Pokemon game of their dreams. But from what we've seen in the trailers, that doesn't look like this is happening. Yes, the city setting looks amazing. There's a little lore expansion, but the overall impression, more of the same. More gimmicks, more surface level changes instead of meaningful evolutions. Instead of innovating, they're recycling. Instead of fixing core issues, they're dressing them up with shiny marketing. And here's the problem, fans are not stupid. They see this. They've been loyal for decades, but even the most diehard fan can tell when a franchise is being ran on autopilot. Now let's talk about what we should have been a slam dunk, the return of Mega Evolutions. Fans have been asking for this for years. Megas were one of the most beloved mechanics ever introduced in Pokemon. They added strategy, they added depth, they made forgotten Pokemon viable again. And maybe most importantly, they gave us designs that actually looked badass. Pokemon that felt dangerous, intimidating, and worthy of the word Mega. So when Game Freak announced that Megas were back in Legends ZA, the community was thrilled. For one shining moment, people thought, okay, maybe they actually listened. But then the reveals came and oh boy, Mega Dragonite and Mega Victory Bell. Let's start with Dragonite, one of the most beloved Pokemon in the entire franchise. And what did they do? They stuck tiny little wings on its head and slapped an orb on its tail. Sure, the orb callback to Dragonair is fine, that part works, but the rest, It doesn't make Dragonite look like a legendary dragon that commands respect. It makes him look like a goofy mascot. This is supposed to be a mega evolution, not a costume change. And then there's Victory Bell. I don't even want to say it, but I have to. It looks like a ball sack with cancer. And yes, I'm borrowing that line from Gara the Rage because it's too accurate to not repeat. This is supposed to be an intimidating epic transformation. Instead, it looks like concept art that should have been thrown in the trash. Nintendo, who approved this? Who looked at these designs and said, yes, this is what the fans have been waiting for? Whoever it was, they should not be in charge of creative direction, period. They should be fired immediately. But honestly, this is the story of modern Pokemon, missed opportunities. Open world, fans begged for years. What did we get? Scarlet and Violet, a technical disaster at launch full of bugs, glitches, and performance issues that made Cyberpunk 2077 look polished by comparison. Multiplayer, sure it's there, but it's shallow, half-baked, and nowhere near what people actually wanted. Customization, still limited. Battle mechanics, barely touched. Meanwhile, Pocket Pair with Palworld is out here pushing boundaries. They're not afraid to experiment. They're not afraid to give players real freedom. They are giving players crafting, survival, base building, exploration, actual co-op, and creature design that, love it or hate it, feels fresh. Palworld feels like evolution. Pokemon feels like regression. And then there's the price tag. Pokemon Legends ZA will cost $70, $70, for a franchise that has been cutting corners, recycling assets, and delivering games with less polish than indie titles made by teams of 10 people. Nintendo knows people will pay it. They know the Pokemon brand is strong enough to sell millions no matter what, and instead of seeing that loyalty as something to reward, they see it as something to exploit. That's the betrayal. That's why fans are so frustrated, because they love Pokemon. They want to see it succeed, but Nintendo is treating that loyalty like a blank check. And here's where it gets interesting. If Nintendo keeps going down this path, it's not going to end well. Sure, Pokemon is huge, it's a cultural juggernaut, but giants can fall. If Palworld keeps growing, if other developers step into the monster collecting genre with bold ideas, if fans realize they can get more value elsewhere, then Pokemon's grip will weaken. Because competition breeds innovation. That's how industries evolve. But instead of competing, Nintendo is trying to litigate their problems away. And that strategy never lasts forever. Nintendo, listen carefully. Nobody hates Pokemon. We want it to thrive. We want it to evolve. We want it to be that magical experience that defined our childhoods and can still define the next generation. But right now, you're phoning it in. You're relying on brand loyalty instead of quality. You're giving us lazy designs, broken games, and overhyped gimmicks, and you're suing the competition instead of out-creating them. That's not the path forward. If you want to beat Palworld, if you want to reclaim the crown, it's simple. Make a better game, innovate, listen to your fans, push yourself to be great again. Because right now, from the lawsuit to the designs to the lackluster trailers, you're dropping the ball. And the longer you keep dropping it, the more people are going to realize that maybe, just maybe, Pokemon isn't the king of monster collecting world anymore. And if that day comes, Nintendo, you'll have to be the one to blame but yourself. And now it's time to read off the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mad Fox 94, Shade Milkman, Oh No It's Justin, Brian Payne, Andy Ritz, J Wesby 65, Sea Stars Piplup, Astrius Lane, Maximus 2400, John Molina, Dustin 360, and That PlayStation Gamer. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew. And if you truly enjoyed this video, why not give it a like, share, and subscribe? I'm pushing hard to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I could really use your help to get there. Also, don't forget to check out the merch. I've got t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and even desk mats. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting the channel, consider becoming a member. It's only $1 a month, and you'll get access to special emotes, badges, and of course, your name shouted out at the end of each video. Once the list gets too long, I'll be rolling those names into a proper credit roll so everyone still gets their recognition. On top of that, you can catch me live every Monday at 5 a.m. Pacific time when I react to the saltiest fanboys around. And until next time, guys, stay vigilant.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're hot and salty.